Now, I want to talk about this with CNN's Sarah Murray and CNN legal analyst Shan. I want to bring them into the conversation. Sarah, explain what the lawmakers on Capitol Hill are looking to get from this Justice Department lawyer.
Well, I think part of the reason they're so interested in Bruce Ohr is because he did have this contact with Christopher Steele. He's this ex-British spy who assembled the now infamous dossier, which has all these salacious allegations against then President-elect Trump. That's when he learned about it. Many of these are unproven. And so we've seen that this has been especially politicized on the House side, right, among those committees. This whole investigation has been. So I think they're looking for any kind of indication that Bruce Ohr is one of these Justice Department officials who had it out for the president, who is trying to get anything on him from day one. But, you know, we have some excellent reporting on our CNN digital site today with all these people who've worked with Bruce Ohr who are shocked that this guy has kind of ended up in the middle of this, who've been the target of Republicans, who's been the target of President Trump, because they're saying, you know, this guy was a pretty vigilant investigator. He spent a long time working on organized crime cases. He was very supportive of his colleagues. He was always pushing, you know, to take cases to trial. And they say, you know, this guy was pretty by the book. He knew what he was doing. And so they're kind of stunned to see that he's now the center of this controversy.
When a bureaucrat becomes a superstar, or maybe even infamous in his case. But obviously, just kind of taking it up to 10,000 feet a little bit, what Republicans are doing with this is also, as Sarah mentioned, trying to undermine the whole genesis of the Russia investigation, because they argue that this dossier was part of it. But we also know that there are other factors that went into launching this probe, right?
No, absolutely. And I think, unfortunately, why this may have a little bit of legs for them is it is unusual for someone of Ohr's experience to go and have this many meetings with somebody who is no longer an FBI asset. If they're friends, that's perfectly fine. I do that all the time, see friends talk. But I don't come back and then get debriefed by the FBI about it. And that suggests that somebody was authorizing him to do that, or each time he meets them, he thinks, wow, there's some news here I better tell people about. So that is going to cause a lot of genuine curiosity about that. So that's probably going to give that whole inquiry a little bit more traction than it would normally have.
That's really interesting. Okay, before we take a break, I just want to mention a conversation that I had with Rudy Giuliani yesterday, who said that they have not heard from Mueller's team in 3 weeks. About 3 weeks ago, Team Trump sent over another outline of what they would be willing to deal with in a potential, underline potential, presidential interview with Robert Mueller. They haven't heard back, and there's nervousness.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think there's been nervousness all along, but Rudy Giuliani has been voicing a lot of confidence that in the end they would be able to work out terms in order for this to happen. Of course, he's been saying, you know, that he's been saying both publicly and privately that there's great peril, and the people around the president think there's a lot of risk in him sitting down with Mueller and his investigators. But obviously the key question is what kinds of questions he's going to be willing to answer. Mueller and his team did not seem to be happy with the opening gambit that they got from Rudy Giuliani in terms of really narrowing the scope to only things that happened after he, you know, was in office. And so clearly there's a back and forth there that's gone cold because I guess the assumption would be that Mueller is sort of switching tracks.
Exactly, and that's the question. What track in the 15 seconds we have left? Sorry.
What's the other track?
No, I mean, could he be working on a subpoena? Could he be just saying, forget it, we're not even going to bother?
I'd be a little bit surprised by a subpoena, but the other point, you know, Rudy Giuliani, if you call him back today, might say something completely different. So I don't want to overcommit here, but I'd be a little surprised by a subpoena. You know, these are fights that have happened in other administrations. There was a fight with George W. Bush talking to the 9/11 Commission. There was obviously a very long fight between Bill Clinton and the Starr grand jury. Just wait and see how this plays out.
And was he calling from the golf course, or is he back from his trip to Scotland?
To be fair, I just got a text because I wanted to check before this segment, and Giuliani said they still haven't heard back from Robert Mueller. So it's a good button for this conversation. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, both of you, for your reporting and insights.